Alright, today we're going to be filming with the Chicken Man. I don't know what to feel. We're about to drive up to the cabin and, you know, I don't know what to expect really, because this is the first time that we're going to meet this dude. We're just going to drive up to the cabin and hopefully we have a good time and we share a good story to people. Alright, you ready for the interview? Alright, this is a big moment.
For sure.
Alright, let's put the mic on. Alright. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright, thank you.
Can you do a mic test for me as well?
Yeah, mic test, mic test. I think it's working, right?
Sounds great. Yep.
Alright, cool. My name is Alvaro Marin Garcia.
My name is Joel Alvarez.
My name is Sanam Sherpa and I'm an ambassador for My Future Pathways.
What do I know about the Chicken Man? I'm gonna be honest, not that much.
I know that the Chicken Man is this random dude who dresses up in a chicken costume all around Eagle County, and he holds up these signs that advocate for points of view that he holds. So like issues of mental health or issues of local government.
I know that he acts as a voice for our community. He protests for things that not many people have the courage to stand up for.
I know that he has a lot of signs targeting audiences with mental health issues.
I guess I feel kind of nervous for this interview. It's the biggest project we've ever done for My Future Pathways TV.
It's great to see it come to life.
I'm very nervous but also quite excited on meeting the Chicken Man.
I would also like to remind this council that you work for us and what we want done in this town.
What I want people to get from this documentary is that I want them to know that they have a voice and that they can share their passions with other people.
This is our town, not yours.
I hope that they get a better insight into a man that most people see as a mystery.
I am glad that I could tag along on his journey and he's a part of our journey now, so.
I enjoy what I'm doing, and it's like, that's my free time, you know? And like, people are like, oh, you don't do anything for yourself. And it's like, well, that's what I'm doing for myself.
I think the Chicken Man will go down as Eagle County's voice for reason.
There's only one person who would do that, and that's Tim McMahon, the Chicken Man. Oh wow, he's pretty good at it. Alright, I think he's here.
Are you ready?
I don't know. We
Yeah.
have to see how it goes. I'm actually kind of nervous.
Go with the flow.
Yeah,
Break out though, we're gonna make it.
I think this is the biggest interview we've done.
For sure. Is that him?
I think it's him. All right.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Tim.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you. My name's Alvaro. Thank you so much for coming out.
Definitely, guys.
My name is Sanam.
Sam, nice to meet you.
My name is Joel.
Joel, nice to meet you guys.
All right. Are we ready for the interview?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. We got some snacks out there if you
Awesome.
need anything before we
Definitely.
get started. All
Cool.
good?
Thank you.
All right, cool. Let's go downstairs.
Awesome.
Is this camera rolling?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, I'm sitting here with Tim McMahon, or as you all might know him as, the Eagle County Chicken Man. He has agreed to come in for an exclusive My Future Pathways TV interview. All right, Tim, thank you so much for coming in.
No problem.
Whenever you're holding up a sign in public and someone like drives by you, they might have an opinion about who you are, but in your opinion, who is the Chicken Man?
It actually goes back to like COVID time. So I moved here in January 2020, right before COVID hit. Started working at Beano's a couple days a week to get my pass, and then worked full time at the Coyote Cafe in Beaver Creek. And then COVID hit and everything went to hell. There wasn't really much information out there. And then originally a lot of the people at like the Tarns and River's Edge and stuff got 24-hour notice to move. Then they got 72 hours. And then finally the resorts gave 10 days for everyone to move out of employee housing, which unfortunately, majority of the people that work for Vail Resorts, I mean, besides the J1s, like they don't live with their parents. So it's not like they just go back home. Like this is their home for the winter. So I took offense to that. And I'd been trying since they did that ban or told everyone to leave, went up like 3 or 4 times with snowshoes, trying to find the Snow State camera at Beaver Creek. And finally on the 10th day, March 27th, it was a Friday, found it. And put a sign up in front that said 10 days to vacate employee housing, profits over people, rob cats must go. It made the front page of the Vail Daily the next day. And then my bosses at the OD called me and said that Vail Resorts knew it was me, and I was fired. So that kind of pissed me off even more because it wasn't anything bad. It was truthful stuff. So we ended up agreeing to disagree. And then the Friday before the mountain closed down, I did a sign that's that said, "Hey, Wall Street, don't invest in an evil empire," because that's a nickname for them. Last 5 years, net profits of Mountain 1.1 billion, robbed cats 180 million, average ski patroller salary 12.15 hour, hashtag greedy effing mountain. And so they tracked me all the way down the mountain. When I got down there was sheriffs waiting for me. Got a ticket for criminal tampering for the inconvenience of Vail Resorts having to take the sign down, which is kind of funny because I left like $40 on it, which was like almost 3 hours of pay for them. Plus every morning they had to clear the snow stakes, so it's like they had to go there anyways. And then a few days later, I got a sheriff's deputy came to my door to give me a lifetime ban of all Vail Resorts property for putting their guest safety at risk. So that's what actually spawned Chicken Man. The reason I did the chicken suit, partly, like I said, I need the mask because I can't stand there in person. Partly because it's bright yellow, and I was at the time, it was all about Vail Resorts, and they're a mountain company, and snow is white, and yellow and white, stand out against each other.
Yeah. So like you started because you saw an injustice with like Vail Resorts ordering people to move out of employee housing.
Yes.
And then it kind of like spawned into this movement that's like bigger than you are right now.
Oh, yeah.
So like obviously your movement started out a couple of years ago, and obviously it's stemmed from like local issues like your resentment for Vail Resorts, and it even goes to things like trying to abolish like feminine product taxes, and then even like talking about like obviously international issues like the Russo-Ukrainian war.
Yeah.
So like if you could summarize who the Chicken Man is in like 1 to 2 sentences, very quickly, like who is the Chicken Man?
Gosh, I guess who is the Chicken Man? That is, I guess, just a guy in a chicken suit, trying to change the valley for the betterment of the people who make this place who it is.
For a lot of us, you just like popped out of nowhere. Like you like started holding up signs. Yeah. So what we want to know is basically more of like your origins. Like how did you land in Eagle County, and what led you to stay here?
Long story short, was married for 10 years, had a kid. We had seen a lot of this country together. Colorado was one of the only places that we hadn't visited that I'd want to move to. Had a rough spot in life, and honestly was feeling suicidal, and called one of my buddies, Brian, up. But yeah, was suicidal and was calling him to say goodbye. And he told me to get his ass up here. He's like, "Dude, I got a couch for you to sleep on." He's like, "I'll get you a job in the morning. Like, just get up here." So I came up here, which unfortunately a lot of people come up here in a bad headspace. And it's probably the worst thing for you, in honesty, just because this valley is extremely hard to live in. Unfortunately, I think part of the reason that we have such a high mental health crisis up here, and it is a crisis, is that we have a lot of people that are extremely depressed in life, and they think that they can move up here because this is like a slice of heaven, which it is, and everything's gonna be better. But what a lot of people don't realize is like when you're depressed, when you have mental health stuff, it's up in here, no matter where you're at in the world. And I mean, you can go to space and you're still gonna be depressed. It's not like you can go to space and be like, "Oh wow, look at all this emptiness. I'm so happy." Like you'd probably just blow your head off. But luckily, made it through. Biggest thing of that was stopping drinking,
So to advocate for like the beliefs that you find to be right, you go to various like council meetings. Like you've been at Eagle Valley Transportation Authority, Eagle County Commissioners, Avon Town Council, and Eagle Town Council.
And Vail.
And Vail Town Council.
Yeah, and Vail Town Council takes me out to dinner afterwards.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And you advocate for like a variety of issues. So in general, what are like the issues that motivate you to speak out?
Well, a lot of the issues are brought to my attention. Sometimes I'll get 15, 20 messages on Facebook, Instagram, text messages, because a lot of people, my friends, have my actual number, about issues. So stuff like that. This lady up in Vail about a month and a half ago brought my attention about the tampon diaper tax. Back in August, it was either August or September of 2022, the state signed a bill saying that as of January 2023, they would no longer collect the state's 2.9% sales tax on diapers, tampons, other products like that that are necessary products, and basically mainly tax women. Unfortunately, Denver and Boulder are the only two that have. So I just bringing everyone's attention, like, "Hey guys, why aren't we doing this?" And so far, everyone's responded very well, and they're looking into how to take care of it.
you obviously bring a lot of issues to the community's attention. So throughout your entire like career as Chicken Man, what has been your favorite issue to talk about?
In all honesty, the suicide stuff. The first sign I ever did was New Year's Day last year, because the night before I was not feeling well. You know, I was going to drive to the bridge at Red Cliff and jump off. Talked to a friend, went over to her house and chilled with her for a couple hours and got through it. But not everyone does that. And so I did a sign the next morning about that. And a guy, probably in his mid-20s, came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, can I give you a hug?" And I was like, and he gave me like a big old bear hug. And so I knew it was like something was going on. And he just like, "I just want to say thank you." And I was like, "For what?" Like, I'm just holding a stupid sign. And he was like, "A couple days ago, I was at my computer writing a suicide note to my parents with a gun next to me. And I saw one of your posts about suicide, like the New Year's Day post, and called my parents. And they came over to my house and got me and took me in and got me, validated." And that, like, I started crying right then. Like, I lost my shit. But yeah, that's when I knew that Chicken Man was a lot bigger than Tim McMahon, that it was a lot bigger. And so, I mean, a lot of the stuff, like, especially like suicides with young kids, it's high up here. That's BS. We need to normalize talking about suicide.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the only way that we can get over the mental health crisis, In all honesty, like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're just trying to get people to talk." And it's like, yeah, I am, because the first step to change is talking about stuff.
The next question is on suicide prevention, so I'm glad you brought it up. Cool. The Ville Valley is still recovering from the death of Kellen Collins, who was a Battle Mountain student who recently we lost due to suicide. In fact, this week was 1 year since his untimely passing. The thing that we really want to emphasize is that mental illness can affect anyone, right? There's not just one demographic of people
Correct.
who could be affected by mental illness. Like,
Yeah.
I bet most people who've met me probably would never assume that I've had my bout with it too. Yeah. And even like looking nationally, around 50% of adolescents will experience a mental illness throughout their lifetime. And teenage suicide rates are rising every year. Like, around 20% of teenagers will now consider suicide at least once in their life. So,
and that's 20% of people, of teenagers that said they would.
That admit it. Yeah.
Right.
And
which,
of
that
course,
number is a lot higher.
Yeah, and that's why we need to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So could you tell us, like, as the Ville Valley, what can we do to kind of alleviate this issue or work towards mitigating it?
I think, the easiest and biggest way that we can help is literally just reach out to people. If you see someone in line at the gas station, if you see someone in line at the grocery store and they look like they're upset, ask them how they're doing. It might save their life. You don't even have to know that you saved their life. They don't even have to tell you that they're suicidal. But just talking to them, you might save their life, And I think if we can just all work together more to get the community aspect, because, like, and a lot of people go off on, like, oh, blue, red, liberal. And it's like, dude, it's not at all about politics with Chicken Man. It's about humans. And that's what we need to get back to in the Valley. So we need to get back to we're the Eagle Valley community, and all work together, So, yeah, super easy. Well, that and access to mental health, which is awful in this Valley.
So you're turning 45 this year, if I'm right. But let's say that you were 18 years old again.
Yeah.
What advice would you give 18-year-old you?
You can get through anything. I've been through some real messed up stuff, a lot of it that I'm not going to talk about on film. Yeah, the biggest thing I could tell you is that it's not, don't ever give up. It's not the end of the world. Going through my divorce was rough. In the course of probably about a year and a half, I put on 60 pounds because I was drinking so much, getting in fights, and I've never won a physical fight in my life. Yeah, don't give up, Nothing honestly is as big as it seems.
Throughout your time as Chicken Man, the advocacy that you've done in public has obviously led you to some trouble, right?
Yeah.
Like, the first sign you did led to you being fired from your job.
Correct.
And you also have been cited for trespassing, which you pled guilty to.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel any regrets for anything you've done?
No, not at all. No, because I never, and I say this to my friends every month or so, dude, I'm still amazed at how much bigger it's gotten in that last month or those last couple weeks. I never thought at all it would be where it is now, where I can go and, go into town council, and I know all the town councils and the mayors by name. I got most of their telephone numbers, and I've gone out with them, and we can talk about stuff. And, 2 hours later, there's a text message, oh, they're already working on the tampon tax. That's awesome.
Do you almost prefer being like the rebellious free spirit that you are?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I was in an elected position, I would probably at least get kicked out of a couple meetings, maybe get arrested, who knows. Yeah, I mean, if you ask any of my teachers, bosses, my mom and dad, I definitely was a rebellious person, and like question authority all the time. So, yeah.
You don't do this for money. You don't do this for fame. You do this because you're actually passionate about the issues you advocate for. I always like to think that you have to stand up for things. Like my senior quote, it's going to be an Alexander Hamilton quote, and it's those who stand for nothing fall for anything.
Yeah.
So
That's definitely a good quote of his.
it's a pretty good quote.
Yeah.
Right. You stand up for what you believe in. You wear your values on your sleeve. So what is your message to someone who looks at you and wants to stand up for something they believe in, but don't have the courage yet? What do you say to them?
I mean, you can always start small. You don't have to get a chicken suit and stand with a sign. It could be as simple as like writing letters. Even if it helps like one person, that's huge, And I already know for a fact, I mean, like I said, last January, I know for a fact that guy, and then 3 other people have contacted me. I think a total of 13 or 14 parents have contacted me from Battle Mountain and Eagle Valley High School, just saying like, thank you so much. So I know it's making an impact. But yeah, just do it. Why not? I mean, the worst case scenario for me, I guess I'll probably go to jail maybe for a little bit, but whatever, like Eagle Jail is like country club, like look at your views, like really, and I mean, like pretty much everyone in jail would already know me too. So who knows? Maybe like Don in there or something. I don't know. Have like sweet and like get pasta and stuff. I don't know.
You get protection from like the beating.
Exactly. I'm like, yo, give me your yeah. So.
Final question.
Yeah.
We ordered some barn animal costumes,
Yes.
and we would like to get an inside peek at what you do. So would you mind if we joined you in going out and holding up a sign?
Not at all.
All right, perfect.
Awesome.
All right, Tim McMahon, the local activist known as the Chicken Man. Thank you so much for coming on MFP TV.
Definitely, guys.
Before going into the documentary, I was excited because it was actually originally my idea to interview the Chicken Man.
I mean, I don't know what my expectations of the Chicken Man were, because this man is known as an enigma throughout our county.
I would say it was my first time meeting someone that had something to strive for like him, and he does whatever he can to get his voice out there.
I think that documentary would be a great opportunity to bring awareness to what the Chicken Man advocates for, and just make our community a better place.
Everything that he preaches, he has practiced before, and it makes him that much more real of a person.
I mean, if I had the Chicken Man's passion, I believe I would do anything for anything I believe in.
When you have such a movement that inspires you and really lights the fire within you, then you're willing to risk anything for it. And I think that that's especially evident now, given all of the social movements that have erupted in the past few years about issues of justice in our community.
I would risk everything for my beliefs because I know that I have a voice and should use it.
Tim McMahon, MCMAHON, Sunridge. I would like to apologize for my vulgar language last meeting. I am very passionate about these issues and started my life as a sailor and moved on to bars, restaurants, and construction. We tend to use a lot of 4-letter words. The people in this valley are amazing. I mean, and that's why I do what I do, is because the people here.
Today we have a very special guest. He almost doesn't need an introduction, because if you don't know who Chicken Man is, well, then you're living under a rock and you don't have a social media page at all.
This one I've been wearing to recent town council meetings and stuff. Remember, you work for us, just letting them know, hey, you guys were elected by us, you work for us to do what we want you to do, not what you guys want to do.
I am super excited on especially protesting, and especially about mental health and promoting my future pathways so that people could work on their mental health issues.
We're gonna be dressed as goofy animals, but I think it'll be a great opportunity, and it'll definitely contribute to taking MFP to the next level.
We have like this honor of being able to demonstrate and talk about social issues with the man himself. All right, now we're gonna make some signs with Tim, and we're gonna see the craft and how he does it.
Awesome, guys. So these are your standard project boards. You guys probably use these for like science fairs back in the day. 3 feet by 4 feet. I usually do between 4 and 6 lines. 5 lines works the best as far as sizing. But yeah, we'll get going on some signs. So that's the one that I brought. Just because it calls out Speak Up, Reach Out, which is Eagle County's suicide awareness nonprofit, which is always cool.
Yeah.
And then also references 988, which is also a great thing. Basically replaces 911 for mental health emergencies.
It's interesting. The A and aren't looks different from the A and R.
Because I didn't finish it, actually. So this sign, like a lot of my signs I make at like 2 o'clock in the morning after being up for like 18 hours. So these are the markers I use. Not necessarily pushing Sharpie as a brand, but it's like the only thing Walmart has that are decent. Get about 2 or 3 posters out of these before they go. They still work, you just can't really get good definition. But yeah, so cool. Awesome, guys.
I'm excited for mine. I think I'm going to make In My Future Pathways one. And what are you guys going to make?
Probably some thoughts on suicidal and make sure everyone's aware of it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's so numb.
It's a lot harder than it looks to get everything to look the same. You got to count letters and stuff like that. And I know it kind of sounds silly. But if you look at some of my early signs, I didn't do that. I was very young, and they look awful. Like, looking back at all the ones at Beaver Creek, I'm like, God, that was my handwriting. That's so awful. So, I mean, either like, or we could even go up to the front, because then it's less chairs we have to move.
Yeah.
You know, some of the signs, the red and blues mean stuff. You know, like, for example, like I like to do Town of Vale blue, Vale Resorts blue. If it's someone negative, I usually give them red. Suicide's usually red just because it's negative. But at the same time, the spacing or the color is more to kind of like draw attention to certain words on some signs. Then some signs it's more just to, you know, black, red, black, blue, black, red, black, blue, just because it looks cooler.
Could it just be like gypsum? I don't know. Like My Future Pathways Youth Center free. I don't know. I don't know how to like find the combination.
I know it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah.
Like even some of my simple signs, they're like, oh, it's 7 words. How long did that take? 2.5 hours.
I'm like scared to like lay the pen on the canvas. I'm like, ugh. It's Tuesday, March 5th. We're standing outside of Eagle Valley High School with the Chicken Man himself.
We have the signs over here that we created. And the Chicken Man, I would like to ask, what are your thoughts before this?
It was very an honor to be asked. And, you know, I'm glad that there's more people getting involved. So this is what we need to change the community.
Right now, the experience is surreal. And actually watching it and being able to do it is a really good feeling. And we love the support out here in the Valley. And I just want to say thank you for coming out and supporting.
What was that? Oh, we got people honking.
Thank you for what you do. You're amazing.
We're making a documentary on the Chicken Man. Would you like to be interviewed for the documentary?
I gotta get to work.
We're standing here with Piper, who wants to share an opinion about the Eagle County Chicken Man. So Piper, my first question is, what do you think about the Chicken Man?
I think he's amazing. I really love what he's doing for the youth in this community, bringing awareness for all kinds of different things. But I love that he goes out to different high schools and really connects with the youth.
And what's your favorite message that the Chicken Man shares?
The message that you're not alone in your struggles in life, that, you know, everybody has really low lows and we just all need to be there for each other and talk about suicide a little more, as unfortunate as it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the camera, is there anything you want to say to the Chicken Man?
Chicken Man, you keep doing what you're doing. And if people are ragging on you for certain things, you just keep it up, buddy. You're doing a lot of good things for the youth of this community. Thank you very much.
All right, with MFP TV, this is Alvaro. Thank you, Piper.
Thank you, guys.
Nice.
I think the Chicken Man's cool.
Yeah,
Other than that, I have nothing else to say about him.
This is Sonam Sherpa here with My Future Pathways, and we're currently filming our documentary about the Chicken Man called Unmasked, and we're here with
Victor?
And I have 3 short questions for you. The first question is, what do you think about the Chicken Man?
Just a chicken.
Just a chicken?
You look like a chicken.
So, I guess the biggest thing I'm trying to do is make it a lot better for the workers of this valley to live in here. Part of that comes to mental health with suicide awareness. One of the easiest ways to prevent suicide is talking about it. And unfortunately, like especially my parents' generation and older, if you're a man, you just hold it inside, you know, and then later on you blow yourself up. So, but yeah, just trying to get better conditions and just overall raising awareness for community issues. Trying to, you know, kind of be the voice for stuff that needs to be said. So,
That's amazing, man.
Okay, Victor, after hearing some words from the Chicken Man, what do you think about him?
It sounds like he's been through a lot, for sure. To be doing this type of stuff, pretty crazy, but inspirational to be standing out here in the cold. Really amazing what you guys are doing.
All right, this is Sonam Sherpa with My Future Pathways, and I'm here with Victor, and thank you for coming.
Hello.
I'm Joel Alvarez with My Future Pathways TV. We're currently recording for the documentary series Unmasked, the story of the Chicken Man. I'm here with Emmett. Thank you for coming. And we're going to ask you 3 questions. Okay, the first question is, what do you know about the Chicken Man?
I mean, we have each other on Facebook and, you know, Instagram and all that. And I know him from Chris Romer's Facebook. So it's really just, I like the message.
Yeah.
So that's what I know.
What's your favorite issue that the Chicken Man has advocated for?
Probably suicide. There are times when that's really something that I think about, and seeing those signs really, like, just the messages he thinks about putting on these signs really helps me kind of get through it and know, you know, what it is and what it could be.
Yeah. Now that the Chicken Man is here, is there anything you want to say to the Chicken Man?
You are so cool. Yeah.
I'm Joel Alvarez with My Future Pathways TV. Emmett, thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
I mean, this was definitely a perspective-changing experience, you know. Being able to actually protest with the man himself was something that I guess I wouldn't have ever expected because he's like a local celebrity. We didn't even think that he'd have enough time for us, but it ended up being a lot of fun.
I think it was a pretty fun experience. I'm usually a very shy guy, so this is definitely stepping outside of my comfort zone. I think it's pretty good, and, you know, it's definitely something I want to do in the future. And, you know, this is the first step to greatness. This is good.
Right now, the experience is surreal, and actually watching it and being able to do it is a really good feeling, and we love the support out here in the Valley.
I mean, my reflection on this project has been that it was a fun project. It was something that was hard to do, but ultimately really worth it in the end.
It showed that we could do great things. We can do big things, and we can do it on a short amount of time. And I believe that from here, we were going to do way better things.
I love working on this project, especially with the Chicken Man, because I got a lot of perspective from where his voice comes from.
I feel like we learned a lot throughout this project, and we're excited that this is our first major release from My Future Pathways TV.
But you know, it showed us that there's no limits to what we're doing right now.
The love he has for his community and the way he is able to risk what he has to speak up.
By us being able to solidify his legacy and tell his story, that's something that I'm just so grateful for, and I feel like My Future Pathways really allowed us to do.
Well, my final thought is that I'm just excited for our next project.
All right, I'm ready for the next project.
So reflections for today. It was a really cool experience meeting these guys for the cool organization, My Future Pathways. Help mentoring high school students around here in Eagle County, and doing signs and getting the continued support of people driving by and honking and waving hands, and the fact that there's other people in this community that do care about suicide prevention and awareness. But yeah, it was awesome coming out here today for this couple hours at Eagle County High School.
Okay, Tim, the Chicken Man, thank you so much for taking us along with you, like learning what you do in the costumes too. I think it was really great. I think it's inspiring. I'm usually like a very reserved guy. I don't really usually do this type of stuff, so I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's definitely inspired me to do more, because I definitely want to do some activism work in the future too.
Awesome. Well, good. So, and like I was saying earlier, it says on the back of your sign, your handwriting is so similar to mine, it's kind of creepy. So.
Tim, I want to thank you, especially for inspiring all of us with what you do, and you're a man of your word, following through with everything that led up to this moment. And I had a great time learning you too.
Glad. Yeah, it's definitely a fun experience.
Tim, thank you so much for coming out. I like to think that I would stand up for my beliefs, but then when I hear about people like you who literally would risk anything for their beliefs and to stand up for what's right, like all of the trouble that you've gotten into, but for a good cause, is so inspiring. And we're so glad you decided to stay with us. We're so glad that you decided to come out with us, and go out and hold some signs up. And we really appreciate it. And we wish you luck in the next step in your career as the Chicken Man.
Definitely. Thank you guys. Yeah, no, it was awesome. I had a great time working with you guys. It was awesome helping you guys out with the signs and hanging out. Definitely looking forward to your next project. Because so far what I've seen of this, like, it looks like it's gonna be pretty cool. So you guys are definitely doing the right thing for high school kids, you know? So yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Have a wonderful time.
You too, guys. Have a
Awesome.
good day,
Thank you,
guys.
Tim.
Definitely.
Chicken Man is out. Just like that.
Bluebird on a telephone line. How are you? I'm feeling fine. Sweetly do I whisper your name. Lonely solo taxi ride to a cheap motel on the wrong side of the tracks. The facts are tricky to explain. Old habits will die hard. This pile of junk sitting in my yard. The souvenirs from the wrecking ball of dreams. down. It gets to feel like hollow ground. Is a shallow grave where near the bluebird sings. Last time home when I played this song, you said, Dad, it's sad and way too long. And I pulled you close and I held you in my arms. Yeah, salvation wears a thin disguise, 'cause I can see the heaven in your eyes. And I thank God them years I searched were not in vain. Finally found someone to love more.